Hi everyone, in this video you're going to see the Night Pearl Marten 430 and the Marten 650 thermal scopes in use, and you're also going to see the Night Pearl Alor Pro handheld 25mm spotter being used. You're also going to see vermin species in the UK being legally controlled, so if you don't like that, please turn off now. So this first clip here is showing a couple of grey squirrels that I've obviously identified by sight before recording this. This is using the handheld spotter, the Alor Pro, and then moving on to the Marten 430 thermal scope. I'll flick through the different colour palettes throughout this little clip just to show you the type of things that you could expect to see if you do purchase one, quite like the green one there. And this one sits nicely for me. When I get round to the black hot again, sit nicely switched off. I'll pop links in this video throughout to take you to the Night Pearl website if you do decide to buy one. Now you can see from this clip that it's extremely difficult to identify whether it's a grey squirrel or a red squirrel purely through the thermal. So if you are using one of these in an area where there are red squirrels, please make sure you get a good visible ID on it first before pulling the trigger. So this next clip is using the handheld Alor Pro 25mm spotter again. The birds at the bottom are roughly 140 yards away, and in the middle of the screen next to the pigsty you'll be able to see two rats. They're around about 90-95 yards away. You'll see them a little closer in the next clip. And now here they are at around about 30-35 yards. And I'll quickly skim through the different colour palettes that you can get on the Alor Pro. And this clip is now showing you the view through the Marten 450 thermal. And that is sat on top of my FX Dream Tack sub 12 foot-pound in 177. You've probably noticed on each clip where I'm taking a shot, there's something seriously missing, and that's the sound of the shot. These things don't come with a microphone. Although it is really disappointing that these don't come with a microphone to record the sound, they by far make up for it in the quality of the image you can get. So unless you're using them for videos for YouTube, for an immersive experience for your viewers, they're still fantastic bits of kit. Now this is Steve taking a shot on a fox using his Tikka 243 and the Hick Alpex scope. Get down. And I was stood behind him filming exactly the same shot using the Night Pearl Marten 450 scope. You clearly see the fox drop there. This is at base magnification and 156 yards. This is showing a deer. It's round about 180 yards away, and as it comes towards my left you'll see a hare behind it there, which is 200-210 yards. The image quality on this is excellent. You can see the definition on the house at the top. guy's losing a lot of heat. Here's a second deer coming along for a plate. Now these guys, they're not on the list for this permission. We can't touch them, so these are perfectly safe, as well as this scope being sat on top of an air rifle. It's great to watch these. Now in this part of the video, I'd like to give a massive shout out to Jeff Pybus, aka the Rat Buster on YouTube. He's very kindly got us set up with this equipment to trial, and he's also very kindly let me use the famous Red Baron. And this is what you're seeing now. This is the Red Baron with the Marten 630 sat on top. You can see the detail in the goats' heads. It's fantastic. Of this review, I filmed the exact same sequence here using the 25mm handheld thermal spotter, the Alor Pro. Now this is looking through again the Marten 630 thermal scope. So these geese at the bottom, they're about 140, 150 yards away, and you can see the peacocks there roosting in the shed. You can see the tail feathers on them, and just to the right of that shed you can see the little black dot. There's a rat sat there. Now this is a good distance to be picking rats up. The detail again is absolutely superb. As I pan round to the houses in the background, these have got to be at least 800 yards away. This scope really is a step up from the Marten 450. You can see a rat there in the bottom right hand corner again near the pigsty. The stuff that this thing can pick up, if it's got a heat source, it's seeing it. It's brilliant. How many people can claim to have shot a rat with the famous Red Baron? I can. Now it's back on the grey squirrels with the Red Baron and the Marten 630. It's always good to take a zero shot before you start. I started flicking through the colour palettes on the 630, watching this one because it's got its back to me. Not ideal for a headshot. So I was just sat there waiting for it to do the right thing, turn around, give it a good humane dispatch. And then another one turned up. The one sat on the feeder eating is clearly the dominant one. So the other one just has a little nosy around. And then eventually it does come back. He still doesn't want to turn around and give me a clear shot. I'm trying to decide here whether I just take it execution style. The other one's coming back now. The base left hand side of the tree. And this one obliges, going pretty much straight up, and he'll go and sit on top of the feeder is having a bit of a scrap with a bird on the floor there for the bits that's falling off. He makes the mistake of sitting on top of the feeder, still for a second, bang, that's one down. Now the other one, I would have expected it to disappear pretty quick, but instead it comes to the other side of the tree. I'm just lining up for a shot here and it moves. Still for long enough and bang. And you can see there it's bleeding out. It's absolutely amazing the images that this 630 can pick up. Nice clean headshot. Right, so you've seen the footage of us using these Night Pearl Marten. This is the 430 the 450 sorry, and we've got the 630 on the 243. I'm going to be totally honest with this review because we're not getting paid for this or anything like that. We've just had a loan of the equipment. It's going back in the box and it's going back to the manufacturer, so this is a straight up review. We really like the equipment itself. The technology is excellent. You get a fantastic picture with it. The usability of it is absolutely top drawer. We've been using the HIC Alpex, as I've already mentioned, and it's on a very similar theme to that when you're looking at the menu and so on and so forth. But there is a couple of things that we don't like about it, and one of them is the internal battery life. It's not the best, if I'm honest. It's only been charged 6 or 7 times and you're getting about 2 hours out of the internal. Not actually used the spare battery that you can put in, so I don't know the length that you get for that. On the battery side of things, one improvement that I would make to this is on this side of the scope you've got the battery compartment, and on this side of the scope is your digital zoom. For a right-handed shooter like myself, it needs changing round. It needs to go the opposite way, because if I'm on target and I want to zoom in, I've got to reach over the top of the scope and you catch the turret on the top, which automatically changes the color palette, which is not ideal when you're about to take the shot. And I don't want to be taking my right hand off the rifle, so I'm not steady and messing on with the zoom that way. So this would be ideal for a left-handed shooter, but for a right-handed shooter, it's not ideal. I'd definitely make a change. Other than that, it is a great bit of kit. Fantastic. For the price tag, one big disappointment, there's no microphone on it. You can't record sound. Now, for the likes of us, we need that. Yeah. So I would expect a microphone on it at that price range. So that's it for the scope. Good and bad. As for the spotter, now this one's the Alor 25mm Pro. Again, the technology is fantastic. Great bit of kit. You're spotting things out to 1,000 meters with no issue at all. Identification of it, not so great, but you do see the targets coming in. So that's pretty much all you need. One big bugbear that I've got with this is, as you can see here, getting tangled up in the lanyard, and the lens cover for the front, it attaches to this little bit here where the lanyard is at the back, and it's on the side of the spotter itself, which is not ideal. When you've got it around your neck, it twists it, so when you're going to pick it up, you think that you've got it sat in a viewing position and you haven't, and because this is oval, you're twisting on in the dark trying to get it right. It's not ideal. So if you were to put that little attachment underneath for the lens cover and then have it at the back underneath for the lanyard,
it'd make it a lot more user friendly. There is one little perk to this, let's say, and if you can get in close on that, you'll see to the right hand side of the view there's a tiny little sensor. So when you've got this hanging around your neck and it's turned off, when you lift it and put it to your eye, that sensor picks up that you've got it to your face and it automatically turns it on. So if you're wearing thick gloves, things like that in the winter time, you don't have to worry about putting it in standby mode or turning it back on, because after, I think it's 30 seconds or a minute, there's several settings that you can use. You can set it to turn itself off into standby. So that's a great little feature on it. So that's the Night Pearl equipment we've had to use. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please subscribe, like and share, and hit the notification bell for any other videos that we put out there. Thank you very much. Paul and Steve.